Hey guys, John here with Pro H Paintball. We get a lot of questions lately about how to adjust the output pressure of your Powerhouse regulator, how low can they go and what the max they can go out. So we want to do a quick video. We've got the final version of the new Gen 3 Powerhouse. It's got all the new updated parts, everything in it. We just got this one in yesterday, so we're going to do a full video, show you how to adjust it, what each setting is, and from what we've been told, each regulator should be similar. Not exactly, they say pretty dang close though. So for example, 1/4 turnout, a half turnout, and I'll explain that everything for you. So what I've got today is I've got a pressure tester that goes at 5,000 PSI. I've got the Powerhouse multi-tool here. I've got the Gen 3 reg, this is the standard size one. And I've got this cool little reg tool that I will show you. If you are a store or a field and you work on a lot of air tanks, or a team and you work on a lot of regulators, that's what I meant to say. This thing is awesome. Basically what it is it screws onto the threaded area here. And it's like a little compartment inside. And it, instead of having to have a giant air tank that you're working on to find out if the regulator leaks, works, anything like that, you don't have to air up an air tank, you know, and then let all the air out before between working on it. This is awesome. You'll see in the video, I can air this up, fill it up quickly, bleed it out pretty quickly as well. So I'll show you that. So I'm gonna leave that on there actually, so it's ready to go. I've already got some of the screws taken out. So to show you basically, first thing first, of course, make sure it's off your air tank. You can have it on your air tank, of course, if you want to, but make sure it's empty. I'm going to unscrew this here. I unscrewed the 3 screws here on the bottom here already, so that way you don't have to wait on me. And then I've loosened up the top ones. The top ones you don't have to take completely out in order to get it to adjust, or to unscrew, I should say. But I just loosened them up just a little bit. Okay, so inside the regulator, you have the top. You have the, this is the pin that actually your on-off on your gun hits. This is the wave piston, and then the new spring. So I'm going to leave that all together here. And then inside of here, you have an adjustable insert, and it has 3 prongs on it. On the multi-tool, it actually has 3 prongs as well. So that way you can line it up exactly how you want to. You get it and you can adjust it. So the first things first when you're trying to adjust your regulator is you want to, what I did was I found a spot. I'm going to use this Powerhouse logo for a reference point and the gauge. I've got it bottomed out all the way. First thing you want to do is you want to bottom out the regulator as far as it'll go. And this isn't me cranking on it. This is just bottoming out there. So you're good to go. So I know my starting point is the gauge and the Powerhouse logo. So as I unscrew it, for example, I'm going to do it a 1/4 turn at a time, and each one of these marks will help me keep that in mind. The most you want to do when you're adjusting it is 1 1/4 turn, from what I understand. And we'll see what that PSI output is. It should be 800, 850 PSI at 1 1/4 turn. And that is not from the starting point, that is from bottomed out all the way. And we'll see what happens. This will be the first time I've done it with one of the final design regulators. So first things first, I've got it bottomed all the way out. I've got the gauge, and I've got the Powerhouse logo in there, good to go. And I'm gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna hand tighten it up, and then put 1 set screw on it. And this is just to test what our starting pressure is what I really want to know. And I'll write those down for us as we go. So good to go there. Hook it up. My air tank that I'm using today has 900 PSI output, so I know it should be able to go over what this regulator should be able to offer. So we should be covered. So I've got everything there, turn my gauge on, and so ready to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and air this up. And starting pressure right now, if you can see that, is 417 PSI. Bottomed out all the way. I have been told some of these regulators can go down to 350, 400. Each one may be a little bit different. And again, I didn't crank down on this regulator to turn the adjuster all the way down. I just did it until it's hand tight. So 418. Okay, so I'm going to degas this. Let all the pressure out. Let it out of the regulator. And then I'm going to take the regulator off again. And we're going to go 1/4 turn out from where we started. And remember, we started at the gauge. Powerhouse does sell this regulator, or this regulator tool, on their website. It's pretty cool. Oh, I missed a screw there. Okay, so unscrew this. Oh, let's make sure all the air's out of there. Actually, I forgot to do that. So when you're doing it, just be careful. Yep, there's a little bit of air left. There we go. Okay, so take the top off. See how easy this tool is, this little gadget. They have a little handle, I guess you'd call it. Okay, so like I said, we started with the gauge up and the Powerhouse logo there. Make sure that's in line, and I'm going to unscrew it 1/4 turn, which means my ending point will be on the gauge on the side. And it's going to be counterclockwise, so to the left. There. So I'm going to turn it to the left there. Make sure it is lined up. And 1/4 turn. So we started on the gauge. Next, we're at the burst disc. That should be 1/4 turn out. And that will slowly, what we're doing is we're slowly increasing the pressure. Again, I usually recommend for this, if you're paying attention, 1 set screw should be okay, firmly tightened in. Make sure your reg's not coming loose as you're doing the testing. Screw it back into here. Gauge is at 0. I hook this up. Okay, here we go. So 0 PSI there. Hold my remote hose. And this is a 1/4 turn out. So what did I say? 418, I believe, the first one. 418 will be the starting point. And 1/4 turn. 1/2. Let me start over on that one real quick. We said 418 is our first one. Okay, so 1/4 turn out. We're looking at 441. Perfect. Okay. So 441 for our next one. Okay. So we degas this. We're gonna go over this process over and over again. If you guys want to skip to the end, I'm gonna put up a little graphic on there so that way you can see what each pressure is gonna be. Like I said, I was told that each adjustment should be roughly the same. Of course, each 1/4 turn for each person might be a little bit different, not extremely precise on there. So you just want to get in the general area. Okay, so remember we started at the gauge, the Powerhouse logo, and we turned it counterclockwise 1 time, so 1/4 turn. It's going to be right here on the burst disc. So I'm going to do 1 more time. There. I'm going to do it all the way around to the fill nipple. So now we are 1/2 turn. So we started the gauge, 1/2 turn around. For the insert on the inside, we're at 1/2 turn now. So put it back together. Put my screw back into place. If you guys have any questions, of course, you can message me online directly. You can contact my store, Pro Edge Paintball. All of our guys are extremely familiar with the Powerhouse products. Or comment below. Those are pretty good. I'm pretty quick about answering those. Okay, so I'm going to hook this back up 1 more time. So gauge, it's going to be at 1. Hold it on there. And this is 1/2 turn out. So we started at 418, 1/4 turn was 441. Second turn is going to be 531. So 1/2 turn, 531. Perfect. Okay. Bleed out the regulator. Good to go. And do this over and over again. If you are at an event and you don't want to do this yourself, Powerhouse is there. They can adjust this for you. They have a little dyno that they set up. They have some cool videos online, show you how, and they'll set your the PSI out of your regulator pretty quickly for you. Okay, so we started the gauge. We're at a 1/2 turn. I'm gonna use the Powerhouse logo there, and I'm gonna go 1 more 1/4 turn, and that is gonna give us a 3/4 turn there. So what was that? 418, about 20, so 23 PSI in the first turn, and then we're at 90 for the second turn. Hopefully my math's right. Okay, so screw back into place. Again, you don't have to put the screw in here. I just want to be safe. That way when I start unscrewing it, if there's air or anything inside of it. If you're doing it with this reg tool, this is awesome. There's not much air in the chamber, so there's really not that much coming out. Okay. Okay, so you're going to try this again. This is going to be 3/4 turn out. And we are looking at, and each turn will not be the same, as you can tell, due to the way that the spring and everything works inside. So 556 is what it looks like right now. And what I like about this, is that you can fine tune your regulator. So clearly you can see if you just did an 1/8 of a turn at a time, or a just small turn and mess with it, you could really get it to the exact pressure that you want. It's not going to be an exact science. Just even last year with different pistons and whatnot, you'd get pretty dang close. But I don't think you ever got exactly the same. Okay, so we're at 3/4 turn now. We're going to do, so we started the gauge, we had half turn, 3/4 turn, sorry, 3/4 turn, and then we're going to go all the way back around to the gauge for a full rotation. So there, one more time, Powerhouse reg, or Powerhouse logo. We're going to go all the way back around to the gauge, and we're at one full turn now. So here, put my screw back in. And for the most part, all the research that Powerhouse did, they said that 500 PSI, which is what the regulator typically comes set at straight out of the box, 500 PSI will run on 99% of the guns that take a battery, is what they're saying. So we've tested them on our Vanquishes on AC Dallas. 500 PSI runs pretty much everything except for your T15 gun, your mags, or some of your bob long guns that need a very low pressure. As you can see, we can get down to 418. That's pretty low. So, okay. Let's plug this up one more time. All right, we are at one full turn out. And one full turn out. We're looking at 655. PSI. One full turn out, okay. Like I was saying, this will work on everything, so you can realistically grab the Powerhouse reg straight out of the box, plug it in your gun, you should be ready to rock and roll. That's what we do on AC. Luckily, we do have the Powerhouse guys that are at the events with us that really help us out. Okay, so right now we're going to do 1 1/4 turn. So we're back to the gauge. I'm going to do one more quarter turn. Good to go there. So line it up again with the burst disc. Try this one more time. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that has shared one of our videos. We really try to step up, or I've tried to step up our YouTube channel game. I try to put more content out. We talk about this stuff every single day in the store. We just basically have to sit behind a camera and put it out there and try to make sure that we're answering the questions you guys have. So the Powerhouse reg's been one of the first items that we've really dug extremely deep into. I hope we've done a good job of explaining everything to you and answering questions. Again, we're always open to feedback. Try to be positive on it. You don't have to say we're doing a great job, but yeah. So if you have any positive comments or questions, anything we can help out. Okay, so right now we're at 1 1/4 turn out. Everything's ready to go. We were at 655 before. We are at 732 psi on 1 1/4 turn. 732. And just for the video's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and do 1 1/2 turns out. I believe Powerhouse said you're supposed to do 1 1/4 max. We'll try 1 1/2 just to see. I want to see if we can get up to 800 psi. I know some people want that. That's a good mark for some of your guns out there. Okay, so this last time here. And remember, so our 1 full turn was back to the gauge, 1 1/4 turn was back to the burst disc. So now we're going to take same mark here, and we're going to go all the way to the fill nipple. It's going to be 1 1/4 turn, or 1 1/2 turn there. Let's see what happens. You want to be careful if you're not paying attention to it. You want to make sure you're doing this fairly correctly, or have somebody else do it for you. You don't want to undo it too much. I believe you can't overpressurize it, or the regulator gets to a point where it's not functioning correctly on the inside. Just like anything on other regs, you take all the shims out, it overpressurizes. Okay, so let's air this up one more time. It's good to go. There we go. So 1 1/2 turn out. We're at 838 psi. So it's kind of cool. The last few adjustments we've had have been almost 100 psi as you go out. So that actually makes it pretty easy to remember. Like I said, we will have a graphic on there for you and have the results listed in the description and on our website, of course. So there we go. Just to recap, 418 was a starting point all the way down. There are some Powerhouse guys that told me that 350 is as low as we can go on some of them, down to 400 roughly. And each one will vary a little bit. Then 441, 531, 556, 655, 732, and 838. All the way out, each increment. That's a 1/4 turn at a time. We'll do the math quickly and add it online. If you guys have any questions about the Powerhouse regs, any of the tools, any of the parts, what pressure you should run your gun at, how to set it up. We just did a rotational video yesterday that we posted up to kind of show you how to line it up on your gun and why to do it a certain way. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, any questions, let us know. Comment below. Hopefully this helps some of you guys that were looking for the adjustment video. Hopefully this answers all your questions. Like always, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate you guys and all the support you've given us. Thank you guys so much.